If you're the type of person that gets super nervous before you have to get up and play in front of people, congratulations. You're totally normal. So we've all had to deal with nervousness in a bunch of different situations. Maybe it's your first time hitting a stage at a club, or maybe you're auditioning for a high school band, or perhaps you're doing your first clinic, or maybe you're about to, rock an arena or something. But nervousness is a regular thing, and it can manifest itself in a few different physical ways. Like some people start sweating, or you might get the involuntary earthquake hands, or some people even throw up. It's crazy. Now for some people, this is just what they call nervous energy, and it just goes away after a couple of songs. For others, it's a horrible night. Now I've dealt with nerves myself for several years, having done a bunch of performances and a bunch of clinics and stuff like that. Today, we're going to talk about the whole issue of getting nervous. We're going to talk about why it might happen, and I'm going to give you some tips on how you might be able to overcome nervousness altogether. Now, I'm not a psychologist. I didn't sit down and have a conversation with one before I shot this video. I just had a lot of experience with nerves, anxiety, stuff like that before getting on stage. And eventually, it just wasn't something that I had to deal with anymore. So I'm just going to share a little friendly advice on how to deal with nerves. Now, you can start to stress out over a performance or an audition a week ahead of time, or it can hit you like an hour before you hit the stage. But I feel like there's two common root causes for nervousness, at least for us musicians. The first one is lack of confidence. The second one is fear of judgment. Now, the good news is they're both psychological. All right? So if the symptoms are psychological, that means the solution is psychological too. The battle begins and ends up here. Now, I don't necessarily believe that getting nervous is a bad thing. I think the reason why we get nervous is because we care. We give a crap about our performance, right? And we just want to do a good job. The downside to that is that a lot of times it causes us to overthink, right? And you really start to stress out about making sure you play all the right notes and get all those fills out the way you practice them and stuff. And it just puts all of this pressure on yourself to perform. This directs all of the attention inward, and it can sort of lead you to believe that everybody out there in the audience is there to judge you. It's like when they bought their ticket, it also came with a scorecard that they can hold up. Now, one of the most valuable tips that I've ever heard about overcoming nervousness was a few years ago, and it was from one of my favorite motivational speakers, a guy named Bob Proctor. Basically, the tip is this. What you want to start to do is take all of that attention that you're putting on yourself and redirect it to the audience. So instead of worrying so much about being judged up there on stage, get excited about what the audience is about to receive from you. This takes all of that unnecessary stress off of yourself. You start to get excited now about getting up there and doing your thing. And now you can just sit up there and enjoy the moment, enjoy the experience, and not worrying so much about being judged on every single note that you're playing up there. This was a huge game changer for me, especially when I started doing clinics, because I used to get crazy nervous before I went up and did a clinic or a master class in front of a room full of people. And I'd be so worried about getting all my points out the right way and all the demonstrations I wanted to do and stuff. I just sort of redirected all of that nervous energy, and I started to get really excited about all of the information that this room full of people was going to go home with. And it eventually became the same thing, when I hit the stage. It's like this audience is going to be real glad they bought a ticket. Another effective thing that you can do to overcome nervousness at a show or an event or wherever you're playing is to see if you can get a loved one to sit in the audience. Find out where they're sitting and just play to them. So see if you can get a comp ticket for, your wife or your girlfriend or your boyfriend or, whoever's really close to you. and just play to that person. Sometimes even just knowing that they're sitting out in the audience will help. Like I know for me, when I know my wife is sitting in the crowd, I just end up playing better. Another thing that I used to do that helped me before a show or a clinic or whatever I was doing, I would just disappear about 30 minutes before go time, and I would just do a little self-affirmation type of thing. Now this sounds a little weird, but all you need is just a short little mantra that you can just repeat a few times over and over again in a quiet space, all by yourself, just to get yourself in the zone. So I would simply say, like if it was before a show or something, I would just say something like, you know, I'm about to do the best playing that I ever have in my entire life, and this audience is gonna get a great show. That's it. And just repeat that over and over again, just to get yourself sort of primed and ready. And then the last thing I'll share with you that can sort of help you to combat the whole nervousness thing is to just be grateful. Gratitude goes a long way, man. Like you'd be surprised at just how powerful gratitude can be in sort of canceling out all the negative stuff. Just be grateful that you have another opportunity to do what you love to do in front of people and get excited about them being able to watch you do it. So jump in on the conversation. If there's anything in particular that you did to sort of overcome nervousness yourself, go ahead and drop it in the comment section. Do me a favor, visit the merch shop on the way out. Get yourself a hoodie, get yourself a snapback, t-shirt. I got all kinds of stuff in there. Link will be in the description box. Share this video if you dig it. Like, subscribe. See you next video.